Hello there. Nadhim Zahawi is no longer General Secretary of the Tories. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has sacked the former Education and Finance Minister following an independent inquiry into Zahawi's tax affairs. So, Britain's Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has sacked the Conservative Secretary General Nadhim Zahawi after this independent inquiry, and because they found a serious violation of the ministerial code during their inquiry. Following the completion of the independent consultant's investigation, the findings of which he has shared with both of us, it is clear that there has been a serious violation of the ministerial code, is what Sunak said in a letter to Zahawi. Consequently, I have informed you of my decision to remove you from your post in His Majesty's government. The head of government, who has been in office for less than 100 days, had previously commissioned the independent investigation into those allegations. So far, Zahawi also had a seat in the cabinet as a minister with no particular area of responsibility. Zahawi has been under criticism for days because of his personal finances. According to media reports, he had paid the National Tax Authority a 7-figure sum to settle a dispute over his tax affairs. Zahawi also admitted this, but without naming a specific amount. The ex-minister has been accused of using an offshore company in Gibraltar as part of his role as a shareholder in the polling firm YouGov, which he co-founded. The Conservative had come a long way. Born in Iraq, who came to Britain as a refugee when he was 9, he has held various ministerial posts under former Prime Ministers Boris Johnson and Liz Truss. Sunak had defended Zahawi last week. Zahawi has completely clarified the matter, and I have nothing to add to that, is what Sunak said on January 18th during the PMQs in British Parliament. A government spokesman added that the Prime Minister had full confidence in Zahawi. And today we see what's that worth. The allegations of bullying against Justice Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Dominic Raab continue as well. And this is not the first case of this kind in Rishi Sunak's administration. He is said to be responsible for a culture of fear among officials. Minister of Justice and Deputy of Rishi Sunak, Dominic Raab. A number of complaints against old and new government member Raab are currently being investigated. A BBC report shows that apparently even more officials wanted to file a complaint against him, but then apparently decided against it, and that also speaks volumes. Of desolate Tories, whose decline seems to be slowing down or not. The allegations against the acting deputy of Rishi Sunak, Justice Minister Dominic Raab, weigh heavily. There are massive cases of bullying in government circles. While formal complaints are already being investigated, a BBC report reveals these could just be the tip of the iceberg. The news portal explains that even more officials wanted to complain, but then changed their minds for fear of being identified. So the culture of fear it is accused of doesn't seem to be far off here. And according to the BBC, the officers were informed that they had been identified in the course of the investigation into Raab. In investigations of this type, it appears to be standard practice not to take testimony from anonymous sources, which Dominic Raab may find quite beneficial. The news portal reports that some employees who did not file a formal complaint would now make themselves available as witnesses. Questionings about Dominic Raab's behavior have been ongoing since the beginning of the year. Several of the complaints relate to Raab's first term in the Justice Department and his time as Brexit Minister. Another case relates to his time as Foreign Minister. Raab was Minister of Justice and Deputy Prime Minister under Boris Johnson before leaving government under Liz Truss. Sunak brought him back into his administration and therefore has to put up with questions about his personnel decisions. Another minister, Gavin Williamson, was previously forced to leave Rishi Sunak's government over other allegations of bullying. So it's quite a number of bullies there. The head of government himself had repeatedly made ambiguous statements on the subject of Dominic Raab. He is to decide on the future of his deputy after the investigation is complete. We heard the same about Zahawi, by the way. According to the BBC, Whitehall sources say Raab has since improved his behavior. Depending on investigator Adam Tolley's conclusion, it may be too late, though. A look at British politics hardly allows any other conclusion. The Conservatives in Great Britain are dismantling themselves, which is not only shown by their devastating poll numbers. The dispute over wages in the public sector and reports of tax fraud and nepotism in the party are likely to act as fire accelerators. In the meantime, many former supporters are also turning their backs on the Conservatives. They also include pop star Rod Stewart, by the way. Unannounced, the singer recently called a program on the Sky News TV channel in which viewers should have their say. He had long been a Tory himself, but now it's time for the government to step down and let Labour do their thing, is what the pop star said. Commenting on the situation in the NHS, Stewart said, "In all my years in this country, I've never seen it so bad. Change the damn government." The Tories are becoming more and more vulnerable almost every day, and the next elections are coming, as Labour also knows. But I don't think I have to add something else in this video than just saying listen to Rod Stewart. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.